Hi, everyone. My name is Serge Hertescu. Thanks again for joining me in this podcast. And actually, I'm really excited today because this is a special interview. Not only is this an interview with a local realtor expert, but he's also going to be a special guest at our 10-session masterclass that is focused for Canadians who are dreaming of living, working, or retiring abroad, whether partially or permanently, and all that entails. So on the financial side, that's where I come in and help them with the financial planning. There's the emotional side of should we actually do this or not? What happens, to the family and so on. And then there's logistical, where people like Randy come in to help with the selling of the house and other experts that help with buying something else somewhere else. So thank you, Randy, for joining us today. Really happy to have you here. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Sturge. Thanks for having me here to introduce myself and to be part of your podcast.
Awesome.
Exciting.
So, Randy, why don't we just start with the basics? Tell us who you are,
Oh,
what's your
okay.
special, where do you work, and tell us a little bit about your background.
All right. My name is Randy Aqui. I'm a realtor at Main Street Realty. We're located here in Newmarket, but we serve, the greater York region and obviously the whole Ontario region because as a licensed realtor, I'm licensed for all over Ontario. I've worked as far as St. Catharines to Mississauga to Ajax, Markham, and north to Barrie, right? It's basically where my clients are located, what they're looking for, and uh, what they want to do in their real estate, anyways, needs.
Sure, yeah, no
What am
worries.
I? A residential realtor,
Mhm.
helping buyers and sellers in their real estate needs.
Well, that's a big area, St. Catharines, Barrie, Newmarket. So are you on
Yes.
the road a lot?
Well, yes, I'm in my car a lot. It just depends, right? Most of my clients actually listing or selling their houses in the York or Toronto region, but sometimes they want to move out to
Yeah,
more of a vacation area spot, somewhere a
yeah,
little bit quieter. And that's what takes me down to, like, say, Grimsby, St. Catharines, Niagara, or all the way up to Kingston. It just depends where they want to
sweet.
move to. And if they want to work with me, or they can also work with a local realtor in those areas as well.
Okay. So so are you still finding there's a lot of people leaving the GTA for these areas like it was during like the past few years, or is it just downsizing? What's going on there?
Well, it's a combination of both. So right now for my business, I do a little bit of marketing, but most of my business is through referrals. And just lately, and it changes all the time. Sometimes I have a lot of new home buyers, then now, but a niche. I
We're,
found
yeah.
older buyers who
Oh,
are
wow.
downsizing from their 3,000 to 3,600 square foot houses to condos or bungalows. Most of them stay within the GTA
Yeah.
because within the GTA they have their doctors, their dentists, their
Yeah.
family, and then there's some also who move out to somewhere where it's a little bit more quiet and they want a different pace of life.
Yeah.
So it just
Well,
all
I mean,
depends.
I think even in the kind of group that I'm working with as well, uh, Canadians that want to are thinking about leaving Canada, it's not an easy decision. And I worked with a lot of
For sure.
clients where they say, okay, I'm actually going to sell everything. I'm going to go to Spain. And then 3 years later, well, my son's getting married. I might have grandkids, so maybe I'll just downsize here and stay in the neighborhood. So it's perfect that you just said that, you're downsizing 3,000 square foot homes and so on, and finding a smaller residence. So do you do both sides, like selling and buying, or how does that
Yes,
work?
I do both. Usually, when someone's selling their house, usually they have to buy, right? I
Yeah.
mean, if they're buying in Spain, obviously they're going to use a realtor in Spain. But if they're buying anywhere in Ontario, I will be able to help them
You're not
with it.
licensed in Spain? Oh my goodness.
Not yet, not yet. I mean, it would be nice one day, maybe one day.
Yeah, that's
Um,
awesome.
but right now, yes, I work both sides. I also work with rentals, people who are looking to
Okay.
rent, or landlords who want to rent their houses as well too. So a good example is I had a client moving back to actually Italy, and
Oh, okay.
they had a condo here. They had sold their house, but they had a condo as an investment. So basically, I took care of those rental needs for them, making sure it's rented out. Now, I don't manage the day-to-day in terms of the rental. I just get a renter in there, and then the renter and the landlord usually just communicate together. I mean, it's overseas, but you know what? With this digital world that we're living in right now, that's not a problem.
People say that spring is a good time to sell and maybe late autumn. Is there like any truth to that, or does it can you
Well,
help someone any
yeah,
time of the year?
there's the spring market and then there's a fall market, right? Our busier markets within the industry. Now, when people think spring, they're thinking April, May. At that time, it's too late.
Okay.
My spring market, what I recommend to my clients, it's usually late February that we get on the market. The thing is, you want to get onto the market before everyone else gets onto the market, right? Because
Mm,
then there's more competition, depending on what sort of market we're in. If we're in a buyer's or seller's market, it makes a difference. But yeah, usually you want to get to the market out there to the market first and get your house sold first before there's competition.
so if I wanted to sell my home in February, or one of my clients needed to do that, what's the process? When do they need to talk with you? Is it in like October, or how does that work?
Well, no, I mean, geez, we can get a house listed within a week. But
Okay.
again, it's always better to do it a couple months before so that you, as a seller, is prepared also in getting your house ready to sell, right?
Right. Paint
Obviously,
job or whatever,
yeah,
right?
obviously, when we first meet, we discuss basically what they think their house is worth, what I
Hmm.
think their house is worth, and I don't dictate that. I dictate from comparatives, what's
Right.
sold recently that's comparable, and what's on the market,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And then we go from there because usually people have to, declutter their houses. That's maybe the main thing in real estate when you're selling a house.
Mm.
It's a decluttering,
Yeah.
right? And once they declutter, then we can see if the house needs to be staged, if it needs any painting or a little bit of work here and there to get the house ready to sell, to get the most money for them then.
Okay.
And then also
So
we go over a strategy. Just every client's different and every house is different. Every area is different, right? So every different areas within the GTA is different strategies.
yeah. Yeah. I can see that, and I realize you said you can list it in a week, but you probably want to do a lot of pre-planning as much as possible, because
Yes, the
otherwise,
more pre-planning, the better. I mean, obviously, it's better for the seller as well too, because as I said, there's a few things they have to get ready, right? The
yeah.
decluttering is usually the number one thing, because the thing is, when a buyer comes into a house, they want to see the space, they want to see its usable space. We want to declutter as much as possible.
And
It
how
might
does
not
that
be a new
happen?
paint job or a new kitchen.
Yeah.
Again, these are something buyers know that when they come into a house, they can always do that on their own, right? But the
Yeah.
thing is, they need to see it decluttered.
Okay. Uh, can you somehow guide them in that as a realtor? I know it's
Oh
not
yes,
your.
no, for sure.
Oh yeah.
Usually I will walk through a house with the client, and I've worked with so many stagers in the past. I know exactly what needs to be done. I
Okay.
go room by room and I tell them, okay, this needs to be moved, or
Oh,
you know
wow.
what, we need new bedding for this, or the family portraits need to come off the wall, etc., etc. Right? We don't want anything on the ground. We want everything neat and tidy. We want shelves organized. Again, it's basically decluttering,
Yeah.
getting rid of stuff, making the house feel airy, big, and open.
Okay. That's yeah. I mean, it's good to know that you can provide those services too, because I'm just thinking every time we like actually we've only moved twice, but it seems like we're always adding stuff to the house that we're trying to make a rule. No more coming in until we get rid of two things going out.
Yes, and although I give you the advice, working with Main Street Realty, we actually have an in-house stager as well, who
Oh,
will
okay.
come in and give a second opinion or a consultation, right? So that helps as well too, because the thing is, we want to, get your house to market and make sure that buyers fall in love with your house to sell.
I mean, I know that it's always going to be, I assume it's going to be stressful anytime you're buying and selling something so large, logistics and whatever. Now we're talking about
Yes.
people that might be leaving Canada. Just for aside from the fact that people leaving Canada, like what are some things that you've seen in the past that you can recommend to people to, know in advance so that it's as smooth as possible? I'm talking about lawyers and banks or whatever. Like, have you come
It's
across anything in the past that you could give
all about
advice on?
communication. And again, when I sit down usually with my clients, we go through all that, right? We make sure, they have lawyers signed up. I make sure they got to talk to the bank about certain things. And I help them with different professionals that they can talk to as well in
Hmm.
order to, alleviate their fears or concerns because I do the real estate part. I don't do like say the mortgage part or lawyers, what they need, et cetera, right? So yeah, I guide them in the whole process.
That's
And each
awesome.
individual is different, right? And their needs and their wants.
Yeah. Well, this is pretty good information.
Yeah.
So what else can you tell us about anything expertise wise from your side of things about how to put the house properly? I mean, we've talked about decluttering, maybe
Yes.
painting. How important is the front yard?
Yes. Yeah. You know what? The better your house looks, obviously, the better your house shows,
Yeah.
right? Obviously, the top two things in the house is usually bathrooms and kitchen.
Oh, okay.
Right? People love to come in and they want to see a kitchen, a really nice modern kitchen, or at least a clean kitchen or a clean bathroom. You know what? You can have the rest of the house dirty, but the thing is, you need to have the bathrooms and the kitchen clean,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You can have dust on, some other rooms, but the thing is, the bathrooms and kitchens need to be spotless. Those are the
Okay.
showpieces of the house,
That's
right?
good tips. Good tips. Awesome. Well, this sounds like you know your stuff. You've done quite a bit of it already over the past years. And if anybody needed to get in touch with you, what's the best way that they can reach out to you?
Usually they contact me through my cell phone or they contact me through via email.
Okay. And just tell us your email. We'll make sure we'll put it in the description below, or so
Sure.
that
My
they can.
email is randyacquirealestate@gmail.com.
Perfect. We'll have that showing up somewhere in the bottom. And I can't wait to have you in the masterclass coming up. So
Can't wait.
if anybody here is watching this, that you are a Canadian that is dreaming, of living, working, or retiring abroad, like I was 10 years ago, and I'm almost there right now, then I encourage you to sign up for the masterclass. You'll get to meet experts like Randy. We're going to have cargo shippers, realtors in other countries, accountants, and lawyers all giving us their expertise in helping you to move. So thank you very much, Randy, for joining
Thank
us, and we'll
you.
see you soon.
All right, Serge. Bye now.
Bye.
This video is for informational and educational purposes only. It should not be considered financial, tax, or legal advice. Please consult with qualified professionals, such as financial planners, accountants, or legal advisors, to assess your personal circumstances and make informed decisions. The views expressed are those of the presenter and any guests, and do not constitute endorsements or guarantees of specific results. By viewing this content, you acknowledge that it is intended for general information purposes only, and any decisions you make are your own responsibility.